This workshop will be recorded, and I would like to say hello to everyone that are joining in for today's workshop on toilet training and connecting social emotional foundations with toilet training, presented by Celina Aguilar with Developing Minds and Developing Mindful Lives and Adopt Parent. And presenting also today will be Aminta Pootaraksa. Just want to go a couple of things. I am Teresa Query with the Family Focus Resource Center. And our information is in the chat box. You can see below, we have our website, upcoming events that's coming up as well. So please check out our website. I just want to make sure I put it there in the chat box. Uh-oh. Yes, I did. So check it out. We have a lot of events coming up as well as a virtual resource fair that will be happening on Saturday, October 23rd. So make sure you check out our website. A couple of other things before we get started. There will be a Q&A, question and answer, after the presentation. And if the presenters decide that they would like to answer some in between time, we will do that as well, okay? So we're going to get started with introductions with Celina and get it going. And if anything else comes up, just put some information in chat box and I'll read it along the way. Okay, thank you. Celina, it's all yours.
Thank you, Teresa. Well, we are really happy to be here with all of you. As Teresa already introduced ourselves, I am Celina Aguilar and I am the CEO of the organization Developing Mindful Lives and Adopt Parent. That stands for the Dedicated, Observant, Thoughtful Parent. And we give a lot of energy to this program because we believe about parent education. And Aminta is our program director. I will allow Aminta to introduce herself as well.
Hi, I'm Aminta Pootaraksa. I am the program director of Developing Mindful Lives. And yes, as Celina said, we definitely want to support parents in any aspect that we can. So this training is going to be wonderful. I know it is a topic that everybody is always asking about.
Yeah, so let me just start sharing my screen here really quick and slideshow. One moment here, talking about, okay, as we said, here is the Adopt Parent, and we welcome you to visit our website by going to the Adopt Parent. And again, here is our information, and you can learn more about Developing Mindful Lives and the Adopt Parent at our website. That we welcome you to that. And the very first thing that we want to do is start reflecting about our upbringings about potty training. How many of you remember, Aminta and I, we were talking and I say, by the way, do you remember when you got ready for the toilet and all the process? And I'll be honest, I couldn't recall. I don't want to reveal my age, but I couldn't. But one thing I recall, to be honest, and I remember a process that I was constipated. And that was very difficult for me as a child, developed a lot of fear through the whole process. And it's just thinking, I would like us to take a few seconds for each one of you to reflect, to take you back to the memories about what happened during that time, who was around you, what kind of support system do you have? Was it really important or not for your family? And I want to have Aminta extending more about this cultural process that is involved, right?
Right. So when we think about the cultural and personal beliefs of potty training, there's always questions that we want to ask ourselves. We want to ask ourselves, what are our cultural beliefs? Is everyone in the family on the same page when it comes to potty training? Who's involved in it? Because many times we have extended family who are trying to tell parents, oh, they should be potty trained at this time, or it's time for them to do it. And when are you going to do it? And it's very stressful. So the process becomes very stressful for us as parents and also for everyone around, because now it's like a whole family thing instead of just the parents or the caregivers and the child themselves. In terms of the actual potty training. I mean, I can remember when I was potty training, I have 3 kids. I can remember when I was potty training, all 3 of them, the 2 of them, they picked it up really easily. The last one, he had a little bit more of a hard time. So he was traumatized by an event that happened. And then he carried it with him up until this day. He's 12 and he still has some issues with, using the bathroom. So it is something that you want to make sure that your child is very comfortable with and it becomes a smooth process.
Indeed. Thank you, Aminta. And with this in mind, then let's start to connect potty training then with social emotional development. And for some parents that might be here joining us today, what is social emotional development, right? Is everything in regards to the emotional intelligence of the children, the self-esteem, the ability to manage their feelings, the ability to relate to others. It's not about giving a lesson on SED, but it's just bringing that awareness. But what do children need? And here is the question that before even starting with the potty training process, we need to make sure that it's a safe platform for the social emotional development. And you might think how this is linked, right? Might not make sense for some of you as parents, but in the early childhood education field, it's extremely important to connect both. So those of you who are attending a daycare or a center-based program, you may want to have a conversation with your provider, with your teacher, and be really sensitive about this process and making sure that they have the same level of sensitivity to approach this whole training on how are you going to be supporting the children. And the first thing that I want to bring to your awareness is the attachment. The attachment or the bonding is extremely important for children when they are developing their ability to trust others. And when you think about potty training, they need to trust, they need to trust the parent, the caregiver, the teacher. They need to know that they are right in a safe place to express themselves or to experience the fear, whatever is part of the process. And how do we form the attachment is going to be essential on how the child is going to build their own beliefs, how children will build their own beliefs, how the child is going to think about himself, the self-image, the self-importance in the process. And with this comes along the sense of belonging. Do I really belong to this family? Do I really belong to this daycare? How I feel welcome? Because if a child is not self-regulated, and we're going to be talking about self-regulation, if the child is not regulated, the children will not be able to learn. And this is not a statement, just serendipity to say it. If we think about other organizations and stating about the importance, we have the National Association for Education of Young Children stating the importance of self-regulation in order for children to learn. And interestingly enough, also for children in order to learn, they need to feel connected. That's what the attachment, the relationship. If they don't trust the adult or the caregiver, the parent, they will not be able to regulate themselves and be in a state of calm that allows children to learn. I mean, imagine yourself when you are tired, when you are exhausted, when you are angry, your brain kind of put your ability to think on hold. And you almost says, okay, let me breathe in, right? Why? Because we cannot learn. We cannot take any experience at the moment if we are not self-regulated. So when we think about potty training, we really need to make sure that we have the right environment, the right connections, the right setting for them to feel safe. That's the security aspect. They need to feel safe. They need to get to know everything that is involved with the process. As silly and funny might sound, they need to feel safe about the toilet. Imagine this big guy that makes a big noise and, oh my goodness, I can't even go through that, flash it. I mean, this is way too much for them in their own view. And we need to create that safe space for them to know that, hey, we have you. We're going to be SOS parents taking care of this process, right? And the whole thing about contribution and collaboration, we need to have children really have the sense that we believe on them, that we are there to contribute rather than just criticize or threaten them. No, we are there to contribute and collaborate in the process. And I will take it a little further to say, like Aminta was mentioning, who is involved in the process? Do we have grandparents? Because let's be realistic. Some of our children might spend some time with grandparents, the daycare, with the auntie, in different places. And you want to create this collaboration that everyone is on the same page. Otherwise, it's very challenging for the child to say, I do this when I am with grandma, and it's different when I go to my auntie, and then my mom wants something else. So we need to create the consistency to be able to collaborate and have this communication. And last but not least, because there's many other aspects, is adaptability. We all have different ways to adapt to a certain situation, but indeed our ability to just observe, who is my child? And we're going to be talking a little bit more about this. And how can I help them to adapt? What are the things that I'm willing to do to adapt this environment, to adapt myself? It's not about the child adapting to ourselves, but it's adapting to the children as well. And with that in mind, we're going to be exploring what happens with these elements.
So we have the elements of potty training, which are, we always want to consider the developmental stages of where the child is, signs of physical and sensory and emotional readiness, in addition to attention and behaviors. So when we think about the developmental stages versus a chronological ages, sometimes a child may be a specific age, and sometimes the belief is, oh, they're 2, they need to be potty trained right now, or we need to start the potty training. But developmentally, they may not be ready yet. So while the number is something that a lot of people think about first, the developmental stages is what they should be thinking about beforehand, because you can have a child that's 3 and they might still developmentally not be ready. So there is really not an age that you can put on it. There's a typical age frame that I know that, pediatricians, everybody always say, they should be potty trained within this age. And then you have the ones who are, oh, they're 18 months and they're potty trained. And you have the ones who are 3.5 and they're not potty trained yet. It really depends on each child.
And I would like to add, Aminta, also, if some of the parents here have children with special needs, to take into consideration that they might not follow the same pattern. And it is really important to really refer to the community and get other professionals involved in how you can get help when it comes to a child with special needs, to be really tactful about this process. And that's why we are here with Teresa, right? With all these and the Family Focused Resource Centers, who is always there to support parents in a way to get resources and the right help. Right. But with that in mind, I would like to then continue connecting. So what else? Learning styles. When we think about children learning styles, think about even yourself. How many of you learn through touching? Those are like me. I love learning, holding, touching. Other children may learn through a lot of visual cues, and some by listening, which is called the auditory, some even by smelling, especially, or toddlers, that like to explore their environment through their senses. But it's extremely important to understand that the learning styles will impact the way that we're going to be working with the child. Because, and we have Missy Chavez raising the hand, we'll be with you in a moment, Missy, because when you have a child who learns more through visual cues, then your strategies we're going to be presenting needs to be more visuals, through pictures, through symbols, through signs. Or you might have a child, like I say, who likes to touch. Literally, you may want to give them the toilet paper to hold when they're transitioning, or to smell the soap that they're going to be washing hands in the process. So we need to really bring the components, and we're going to explore a little bit more into that. Or they might need to listen a song. Do you know what time it is? It's time to go to party, or any other song. The point here is to learn that children respond better when we know their preference, or maybe you have to combine all of them too, right? Teresa, I want to acknowledge Missy. Can you read her question, or she can say it out loud?
I do not see her question.
I wonder if she just raised
she
her
raised her hand.
intentionally, or sometimes we click those buttons also.
And we'll, you know, just to, she said, yeah, it was an accident. And I'm actually checking the box for you, Celina. So unless you really want to answer a question right away, I'm in the chat box letting everyone pretty much know that we'll answer questions.
And
yeah.
we will be answering. Yes, we're gonna wait to see. Okay, so and Aminta has to say things about temperament.
Oh, yes, temperament. So in addition to learning styles, we also want to take into consideration the temperaments of each child, because that's always important, an important component to the social emotional development and for readiness as well. We want to take into consideration how they regulate themselves, how they approach each situation, how they adapt to each situation. You know, like if you have a child who is very slow and avoids things, and then you come in and you're excited and you're, let's go to the potty, and they're very avoiding, it might cause a challenge, right? To be a rift between the two. You're not on the same page there. So also want to read the child's cues and just kind of take their lead and go with that. In addition to developmental domains, Celina?
Right, thank you. And just considering, again, when we're talking about developmental domains, we are referring about the cognitive process that is related to thinking skills, language development, how they communicate, their motor skills, and the social emotional aspect that we are bringing it out. But it is important to take into account the thought process of children. How are they really thinking about these, where they are, so we can contribute with the right thinking skills according to exactly like Aminta was saying, developmental stages, where they are, because I cannot be talking here up here when my child thinking skills is not in alignment with that. So we need to be really mindful about connecting this aspect and being mindful about how I communicate. Also, we need to take into consideration that some children may not have enough language, and it's part of also the frustration about not being able to express some of the discomfort or the emotions that they feel. So we need to really help them by finding ways to communicate. I don't know how many of you are familiar with sign language. I mean, even this toilet or help, right? Basic signs that can help our children go through the frustration about not having enough words or limited language in ways that we can support them, or even pointing at pictures. And finally, the whole aspect about motor skills. Some children, it might be really challenging even to move large muscles or small muscles in their body. And even imagine the ability to sit on the toilet. That requires a lot of posture control, requires the ability to hold my arms and this. So it is not so challenging for us, but we forget about, well, for children, requires a lot of motor skills to be able to sit on the big toilet. And we're going to be talking more about that. And just to put it all together, and the whole aspect about the social emotional development that we've been talking about it. So
we go into the signs of physical, sensory, and emotional readiness. So when we look into the potty training process, we want to make sure that we are, as parents, caregivers, whoever's potty training, even teachers, we want to make sure that that you are able to read some of these signs and these cues. I'm sure there is a longer list, and if you have more to add to it, please put it in the chat. We are always open and welcome to hearing more. But some of the signs that we thought were very important are these. So no longer wants to wear a diaper. So you have your little child running around the house, ripping off their diaper and throwing it away and throwing it on the floor, and they want to run around with no clothes on. That is actually a sign that they might be ready to start the process. They have fewer wet diapers. So maybe after nap, they might wake up and they're drier than usual. Or they wake up in the morning, they're drier than usual. They go to a particular spot to eliminate. So maybe sometimes you might see they're going to hide behind a chair, or they're going to wait behind a chair because they don't want anybody to see them going to the bathroom. So it is, that's also a sign that you can look for. Willingness to use the toilet. Definitely, if you're taking them into the bathroom, they show interest in going to the bathroom and you're introducing them and they're not resistant to it. That is a sign. They have easy transitions. They collaborate with the process. So again, if you're encouraging them to come into the bathroom, they step into the bathroom and they're looking and they're curious and you're introducing and it seems to be something that they want to do, then continue with that process. They tolerate the sensory experience. So sensory experience meaning anything that is around them in the bathroom, the water, if the water turns on, there might be a hair dryer in there, the toilet flushing, all of those, and they are okay with it, they're comfortable. If they start to move away, then you start to see there's some signs that there's some discomfort in the environment. So you might want to look into that. Imitate a parent. So if you're going to the bathroom and they're standing there and they want to sit up on the toilet, that is also a sign. Pointing to body parts, and then the desire for independence and wanting to do it themselves.
And I would like to add that, you know, as Aminta mentioned, you might even have more signs, but the important aspect about having the evidence of the signs is to act up on right away. Really catch those signs and start giving them some credit and describing so you can take them to the right steps, to the right process, right? Oh, 1 second, I think I put my mistake something here. So give me one moment. So now let's look into the not ready signs, right? The concerns and how we need to be really cautious about these. The fear of going into a bathroom. You might have different stories. Like I say, I have my own story when I was a child that I didn't want to be near to the bathroom because the constipation was really scary, the pain. Or as Aminta was mentioning, with his own son, with her own son, the fear of something can block us from visiting the bathroom, right? And again, it could be the fear of the sensory experience, the loud noises, even the smell for some children because of the sensory aspect, the light, if it's not light enough. We need to look into different things. Another sign is frequent wet diapers. That means, they're not ready. So what else that we can do? And we're going to be talking about that. So not ready to stop wearing a diaper will be even sometimes, as Aminta was saying, the child who is excited about walking in the house and ripping the diaper up, this child is like, no, don't take it away from me. You're changing this child and the child is no, because they are afraid of the transition of not having the diaper. The diaper sometimes gives security to children and we need to be very considerate to that. There's no words or signs to communicate discomfort. They don't know how. They end up crying. They end up having a tantrum. And guess what? Of course, this is going to trigger parents. And we're going to go, stop, right? And we just go to this mindset of this is so stressful. How can I make my child stop crying? And we go into a family dynamic in which we are escalating, right, in the stress rather than how we can embrace and reframe this experience. Not easy, but it's possible, right? So we need to really give children possibilities to communicate, as we mentioned already, and we're going to go over some of them, like signing. The fear of the actual toilet, as we already mentioned. This is a big guy, right? And some toilets even make more louder noises than others. So we need to be really careful about that. They are even scared of flushing on their own, not familiar with the process. This is another typical thing. We start the process without even sharing the process with the child. So the child is not even familiar with the process. So welcome to this process. I'm gonna do this and and the child is like, ooh, We all need transition. Think about a time in which you were moving from one experience to another, or in an event that somebody put you into a very uncomfortable situation or unfamiliar situation. The feelings that we experience, not knowing what is this, nobody told me about this, so we need to really make children aware of the process. As young as you think they are, they can understand processing and planning a plan of action with them. So constipation or other discomfort. So once again, I learned about this. I say, I was in that category of children, being constipated and the fear of this. And this, children cannot even explain what is that I have, the feeling, because again, if we connect social emotional development, some of them cannot even express their feeling. Let me tell you, talking about cultural beliefs, many children might start like, and some, without knowing, stop crying. You're fine, Teresa, don't cry, and right away, we are disregarding the child's feeling. We are taking away the opportunity to exercise that emotion rather than take your time to cry. Indeed, this is a very scary process. Take as long as you want to cry. In fact, I am going to be here with you because it's a very scary process rather than stop crying. This is nothing. Come on, look at, it's the toilet. Don't cry. Don't be silly. No, we cannot just transfer our emotions to your children. We need to really take the temperament into account. Each child has a different way to regulate themselves, to process emotions. So I will recommend, highly recommend, avoid saying, stop crying, don't cry, this is nothing. You'll be fine. Oh, I didn't know that we had a magic ball to prevent and to predict what is going to happen. And you know what? This is really risky because imagine if I say, you'll be fine, Aminta, it's okay. And all of a sudden something happens in the toilet, whatever it is, more water, the loud sound, it's going to break the trust. You told me that I will be fine and look at what happened. So we cannot just play this game in which I am the savior, I will be rescuing you from your emotions. We need to be really careful about how are we delivering the support, how we communicate, the support as well, because we don't want to offer something that they will turn around and say, I can no longer trust you, right? We don't want to get to that point. And finally, the sensory triggers, again, and we, if you notice, we are repeating this in every slide almost because it's extremely important to take into account the sensory triggers. How does it feel? How does it feel in my hands when I touch maybe even the toilet paper that for you is very normal? You might even have to have different type of toilet paper, wipes, because your child is really sensitive to touch. Or even the smell, the smell of the poop, the smell of the urine, the smell of the whole bathroom, or maybe sometimes you might have lavender, you have this deodorant, anything can trigger the child. Or the visual, is too much information around him, or too little information or less. And maybe again, the sounds, what sounds are there present. Also, you may find out that in fact, they call them sensory seekers, that they may want to have these aspects. They want to touch, they want to smell, they want to have that sound. And we need to be detective workers here to really know how much, like a doctor's. Let me see the prescription. Let me see the doses that you can tolerate. And finally, like we mentioned, the limited motor skills may be signs of they're not ready because they are not positioning, the posture control is not there, right?
Or so, even some things as simple as pulling up their pants and pulling them down. Well, not simple, but I mean, that is also something that is part of limited motor skills, because if they can't pull their pants down and they can't get to the bathroom in time, so now it becomes a trickle effect, right? Or they can't get to the bathroom in time, they urinate in their pants, and then they have to start all over again. So it is something to look at. Mm-hmm.
That's a perfect example. Thank you. So how you can begin, Aminta?
Tips to beginning the process. So we definitely always want to set up the right time to start. So lots of times, so I used to be a preschool teacher. and a toddler teacher actually. So I have, and Celina too. So we have a lot of experience with potty training in addition to our own kids. But I would have parents who would come in all the time and they would say, oh, I'm ready to start the potty training. Oh, okay. So we would start, but then the parent would need to go on vacation, or a transition happened in the home, but they're in the middle of trying to potty train this child. So their child is now confused because of all of the transitions that are happening, because there is no consistency. And then the parents get frustrated, and then it comes to school. So everything is like a domino effect. So we want to make sure that when it is the right time, when you spot all those signs and those emotional, the readiness, the physical readiness, and you are ready to start, that you are committed to the time that it's going to be. And it could be, you might want to put a number on it, say, okay, for 2 weeks, we're going to do it consistently every day and see how it goes. And then if that works out, then you continue the process, or maybe even 1 week. But you don't want to do it on a time where you're not going to be available to be consistent. Okay. Begin where your child is comfortable and successful. So we also don't want to put a child on a toilet if they're not ready to sit on a toilet, because lots of times, like, oh, let's go sit on the toilet, plop. And then the child's, they're scared. They don't know what's going on. There's this big hole right there. All of a sudden they feel like they're going to fall in, or maybe if you have one of those potty things, adapters that go on top of it, it might be easier. But again, you want to start where the child is comfortable. So if they're comfortable coming into the bathroom, that's where you start. If you want to go to the next step and introduce them to flushing the toilet, then maybe do that. And let's try sitting on it. So every process, you're going to have to test it out to see how far they're able to go. Validate feelings and emotions. If, for example, you do start the process and they do have a hard time with it, you want to validate how they're feeling, and you want to definitely not dismiss it. And everything's okay, everything's okay. We want to validate how they're feeling. Oh, was that scary for you? Oh, that was something new. I know. Let's try. Let's move away from this and let's try something else. So you want to always do that. Validate feelings and emotions. And then to monitor the frequency and consistency when you start. So if you see that it's starting out challenging, where there are more accidents than you would like, then you would have to monitor it, because maybe they're not ready yet. So if and you want to monitor when it's happening, when are they having the accidents? How consistent is that? And then you monitor for a few days, and then you kind of have to see if they're still able to or not, because something might have changed. Another thing also is, if you start and it starts to go out great, then all of a sudden they regress. So that means that there was a transition, or there's something changed, and that's why they moved backwards. So those are all of the things that you want to identify when you're starting the process. And then Celina, offer transitions with visuals. You were talking about.
And offer transitions. We keep repeating this because this is going to be extremely important. Transitions, that's what makes children to feel regulated, secure, and they can reduce the anxiety because they know what is expected. So you may want to say in 5 more minutes, and then 3, and then we're ready to go. By offering a visual cue, you may even want to take pictures of the bathroom, your child visiting the toilet, not even sitting there, just even standing, saying hello to the toilet, or just even washing hands. Any picture that are friendly to them, to the efforts, to the steps. Some children may feel comfortable already taking a picture sitting on the toilet. Whatever it is that works for you and for your child in terms of being friendly, to create visuals for them. But it's extremely important. Even if you cannot print them using your cell phones and showing them to them, I will recommend to print them, to make that effort, because it really matters to have this strong visual cue, not through the screen. That's my own preference. And also, again, the auditory, right? They need to listen in 5 minutes, in 3 minutes, this is going to happen, or maybe a song that you can create together in the tactile. Literally, some of you will find this silly, but it does work. Have the toilet paper with you, even if they're not going to use it, but it's an object, and we're going to continue repeating this, or any other object that might remind them that this is the time, maybe holding, I don't know, even a hand sanitizer, or the washing hands, or a wipes, anything that can support that. And I will say respond versus reacting. Because let me tell you, let's be really honest and realistic. As parents or caregivers or teachers, we are going to be facing some level of stress because we want them to be ready, we want them to be successful, and they're going to have accidents. They're going to fail many times. But what really matters is I have two ways to deal with the situation. I can react, and reacting means I will involve my emotions, being upset with you, transferring my energy. Oh, here we go again. I mean, and when I'm saying about try to activate your empathy here, if I do through my facial expression, like a, okay, I mean, I understand. I'm already showing these signs of stress. I mean, or sometimes I might go, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay. Okay, my child, you know. Also, again, it's not in alignment. We really need to prepare ourselves to say, I really, like Aminta was mentioning, be ready for this. Make sure that you are not only with the time in your schedule, but in the mindset that you are going to have to require to access, and to really say, oof, I am going to turn on my empathy because indeed this is triggering me. But what empathy means? Anybody remembers what empathy means? Right? Putting yourself in the shoes of others, to understand before you're being understood. So that means that, oh, here is the pee, here is the poop all over, the clothing is dirty, and I can react or I can respond with my empathy. To understand before I'm being understood makes a huge difference in the process.
Right. And we also want to remember really quickly to add on to that, it is a skill that they're learning, right? It's not something that they can just pick up and then they can just go ahead and do it. We're teaching them. So as parents, as caregivers, as teachers, we're teaching them how to, you know, be successful in this skill, that this childhood skill and a milestone, I guess, that we want them to be able to be successful in. And if we are consistently frustrated, just as they're probably just as frustrated, because here they, I have the way, you know, as a child, I have the wet pants again. I have the poo-poo in my underwear again. So it's just as frustrating on both ways. But if we put ourselves in the child's shoes, it is also very frustrating when you can't do it. And here you are as a child, you have that going on, and then you have your parent who may be mad at you and maybe showing this emotion, and they don't know what to do with that. So now there's two things going on, and it actually can prolong the process. That's something
Indeed.
to think about. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, before we keep going with our tips, because we are here already listening for a while, talking about self-regulation, let's just give our brain a little way to regulate. And this is a brain exercise. If anybody would like to do it, fine, I welcome you. If not, you don't have to do it. But if you put your two hands like this, and in fact, this is an exercise that avoids Alzheimer. So we're gonna go like this, one finger to the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stop. And now this one backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now simultaneously, 1 to the front, 1 to the back. 1 to the front, 1 to the back. Right? It's tricky, but if you keep doing it, your brain will really help you. So shake your hands, shake your hands, shake your hands. Come on, everybody, shake your hands, stretch your arms. You might be like a seeking for that afternoon coffee already. Roll your shoulders. And as always, the educators will say, smell the flower, blow your candle, just to keep regulating ourselves, breathing. So with that in mind, another tip that we want to share is describe your child's behavior to develop an awareness in the process. Dr. Beckley calls DNA. Describe it, name it, acknowledge. I love acronyms, and I love this one because DNA is an easy one to remember, but describe it. So when your child is, for instance, walking and touching the diaper, you may want to say, oh, Johnny, I see that you're touching your diaper. Oh, that might be time to do something. Do you remember what it is? You want to just describe, you name it. Oh, that means that it's time for potty training. And we're ready, right? So again, just be mindful about catching those moments in which you can describe, or even like, for instance, after flushing the toilet that he already finally flushed it on its own, you can say, oh, wow, look at that, Johnny. You're flushing the toilet all by yourself. This is a big achievement. Look at you. You should feel so proud of yourself. You're conquering that fear. The toilet is becoming our friend, huh? And again, it's making it friendly. But the most important is describe it and name it. And when I'm saying name it, name a knowledge, a piece of knowledge, a piece of skill, a value that they are conquering, that it will inform the process. Again, run a sensory environment. Don't forget about constantly checking the lighting, the sounds, the texture, because that can trigger the process. So make sure that you have the right environment. Follow your child's lead. Don't try to be controlling. Don't say, Johnny, remember, is not, first step is not that. Remember. No, just relax and just say, let me follow you. Let's see how many steps we remember. And to support that, and then to add, to collaborate, to contribute. Remember the essence of contributing. So again, being in tune with your child's needs. You don't need the child to be in tune with you at the moment. He already has enough trying to put this together. Keep one step at a time. And these speech pathologists will be happy with this as well, because they remind us we give so many directions at once. Go get the toilet paper, wash your hand, bring this. No, one step at a time. Limit the words, limit verbal cues. You may even want to say, time for toilet, or even the picture. And then to add gradually, I can put more words. I can add more signs, make it friendly. Use sign language, as I mentioned, and the visual cues. Don't forget how powerful they are. Have a toilet kit ready. And I'm sure you have many ideas on this, but these little box, I have my sensory kit box because I have a child, not a child, is already an adult, but I remember going everywhere with this box with me because sometimes we need that kit of things or objects that are going to make the difference in the process. So be ready, right? Anticipate that. You may want to have a book ready so they can go and have their favorite book reading when they are sitting at the toilet, or something to smell. Maybe a bell that they want to listen while they're doing this. Maybe something to pull and stretch, like a little band. I mean, we can come out with many fidget objects, or even just something to watch. Something, like I say, even those visual things that they have colors, that they can calm themselves. Be creative about what can go inside that box. And you can even invite them to say, we are going to make a special kit for toilet training. Let's go around the house and we're going to bring any object that you want. And every time you're going to bring them with you, So make it fun in that way. Watch your child's diet and feeding time. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if we have any dads today, but sometimes we set them up for failing because we are giving them too much liquid before they go into bed, or right away, when it was not the right time, and juice, or water, milk, and we don't give them that time of, give them the sense of, I can hold it for a very long time now, right? But if we give them too much liquid, it's going to be difficult to hold the pee or to hold, and then you're going to have to run and run again. I mean, at least me, when I am in the days that I say 8 glasses of water, oh my God, I visit that toilet so many times. It's annoying, right? So you want to just to say, let me set this for success by decreasing the amount of liquid so they can have the sense, ooh, I can hold this, right? And also the diet for pooping. You may want to look into a very healthy diet, fiber diet. So when they're learning to poop, you don't want to, incur into constipation or heavy meals that are going to affect the process. So during that time that you are training, like Aminta was mentioning, make sure that you have a very healthy, high in fiber, a lot of vegetables. So let's be realistic. So when the poop comes out, which sometimes we don't even like to talk about it, but is realistic, it will be a more friendly process rather than making this so difficult. And finally, facilitate a visual chart to organize the routine. Children love the visual. You can have a chart, and even you can use it with Velcro, with pictures, they can see the steps or even objects, something that you can show them the process. But don't get confused. Just my personal and Aminta's preference, we don't believe about a chart to give rewards. It's more about a chart to see the process of their routine so they are aware. But it's not about, I'm going to give you a start, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you that in the chart.
Right, or rewarding. Yeah, we would let it, so we hope that it would be an internal accomplishment. Yeah, so as opposed to, if I go to the potty, you're going to give me something.
I'm sorry, I moved the wrong slide here. Yes, is to make it fun, Aminta, right? How is it?
Right. And as parents and caregivers and teachers, the best thing about these things are you can get as creative as you want. Nobody's judging you in a sense. You maybe some extended family, but you can get creative as you want, because the only person who knows your children best is you. So if you have a child who loves the animation and loves the, what the hell, come on, let's go, let's rock it together, let's make it a game, do it. If it's going to make them successful, you're bonding with them, they love the idea, you love it. That's part of it, making it fun instead of just a routine. Like, okay, now we got to go to the bathroom. Okay, let's go to the potty. Okay, make it fun. Anything when kids are in the middle of potty training and toilet training, that's the age where you want to make it fun because it lessens the stress. So, it would help.
And I'm sure many of you, I don't know if you are familiar with this acronym that is in the field of education as well, OWL, observe, wait, and listen, which I love it, because this process requires your ability to observe your child's messages. Wait, do not, here you go, you're gonna have an accident, no, just wait and listen to your child's messages. The idea is to create conversations, not lessons, right? You may want to spend some time, quality time, have conversations. And you're not giving a lesson about potty training, you are having conversations about this process. And even during the time that your child is sitting on the toilet, washing hands, we want to talk about, guess what happens today? I was at the market and blah, blah, blah. Or my mom called me yesterday, or your auntie, blah, blah, blah. Just bring some conversation so you can add that piece of organic conversation, casual conversations to create this environment. So we want to now show you a video clip. And again, you can visit YouTube. There's many videos in which you can support your child, for you to watch it or for your child to watch it. And there's so many, but we want to just share this one with you. And Aminta, can you go to the share screen, or do I need to?
Yes. You have to stop sharing first.
Oh, you're right. Let me be a social. Oh, one moment. What did I do? Sorry. Here you
go. Okay. Here we go.
You may want to make the screen bigger in the box.
Zoom! Just a second. My tummy!
Daddy, it smells! When you need to to potty, go to the bathroom, pull down your diaper, sit on the potty, push from your tummy, poo, right into the toilet go, poo, poopy poopy poop, poop, poopy poopy poop, poop, poopy poopy poop, poop, out it comes poop, poop.
Let's try it together. Push from your tummy. Poo. Right into the toilet go. Poo. Poopy poopy poop poop.
Poopy poopy poop, poop.
You can do it, poop poop.
My tummy.
Do you need to go potty? When you need to potty, go to the bathroom, pull down your diaper, sit on the potty, push from your tummy, poo, right into the toilet go, poo, poopy poopy poop poop, poopy poopy poop poop, poopy poopy poop poop, you can do it. Good job! Let's try one more time. Come on out, poo, poo. With all your might, heave-ho. Poopy, 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 poo. Poopy, 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 poo. Poopy, 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 poo. You can do it, poop, poop.
It came out.
Wonderful job, honey! After going potty, go right to the sink. Wash your hands, scrub, scrub, wash them very clean. Soapy suds, make the suds. Scrub all over, wash so clean. You did such a great job, Oh, my baby, we're so proud of you.
Okay. Now, I love these videos. I look forward to read all of the chat comments. We're almost done with these. So let me just, here we go. Oh, 1 second. I moved the slide for my mistake. So sorry, one moment. Thank you. Here we're almost done. Okay. So, yeah. So when you think about ways that we want to encourage children, to recognize, to praise them, we don't recommend the rewards. We don't recommend this thing about stickers and all of that. We believe in more recognizing through the emotions, right? To support the social emotional development by using what is called positive descriptive acknowledgement, describing what is exactly that they're achieving, right? So when you think about ways to support the social emotional development, first of all, we want to build their confidence. I'm sure you are with us on this. You want to build their self-esteem. And this is a very effective technique that is called PDA, positive descriptive acknowledgement. And it is the essence of this, the goal of this is to really target any effort, not praising the person, not praising the child, but praising the effort. So instead of saying, and funny thing, because in the video it says good job, you know, because these videos are made, I will recommend what is a good job about it to extend, right? Good job about your ability to be patient. You were very brave, you know, describe what is it that they're achieving. You were patient. You were, you know, really willing to face that fear. And that means that you are a brave child. And again, this is our preference. We're not saying that is wrong or you shouldn't. It's a recommendation that we don't believe in about giving stickers or tangible rewards because this create condition in the child. And some children become codependent of this. So what we want is, indeed, we believe about celebrating success, but we want to find ways to celebrate success from the core of the social model, something that is meaningful. Maybe to say, hey, Aminta, how would you want to celebrate? We're going to, You can choose reading your favorite book, dancing, painting, visiting a special place. How do you want to celebrate when you conquer this? So they can work to that goal. And it might sound like it's a reward, but it's a different wording presenting it as a plan of action to celebrate something that it was achieved, not just, this condition in the child. The other thing is talk with others about their success, right? Guess what, Teresa, you're not gonna believe. Aminta now is, using the potty training and is very comfortable. She no longer has fear. I think she's so brave, right? So again, is really describing about how she's achieving things. Again, make the progress visual, have them participate in the chart about accomplishing and say, you did it. Avoid threats, please. And I have heard this with all respect on all the years of being teachers, directors, and all of that. We have heard many things, and I have heard parents going out of the parking lot and saying, you did it again. I'm not gonna show you this. I'm not gonna take you to Burger King. We're not gonna watch the movie. We're not. So again, if you keep threatening the child, you're gonna block the process of being successful. And this not only will affect the potty training, but it will affect the formation of their confidence and self-esteem. So Aminta, this is yours.
Support your child. Make it a loving process versus a stressful process. It is up to you. So, when we think about all of the childhood milestones that we would like them to accomplish in skills, this is just one of many, right? The next step is going to be when they go to school, maybe some handwriting when they're writing their name. It's going to take the same type of patience and the same type of process where, they need the support. And who is going to be their best supporter than parents? So consider this like a first step towards as they're getting older and they need to reach all of these other milestones. It's going to be the same process. If you use the same process per each milestone, it will be successful.
And I cannot stress enough to really link this process with the social emotional aspect. In fact, you really want to be very cautious because the emotions that children are developing at the moment, trusting, in terms of, again, the sense of belonging, the sense of attachment, the sense of security, will determine not only how are they feel through this process, but to anything. So indeed, we need to be really careful about saying, how can I learn more about social emotional development as a parent? As a teacher, you may have many resources, but I want to recommend to parents many other resources. There's one that is called All About Young Children that you can access and you can learn more. And I'm sure in the website of Family Focus Resource Centers, there's many. You're welcome to visit our website as well. I think we are living a time in which we have plenty of resources. And it's a matter of really, going there or asking somebody to help you. I think we live also in a community right now that is very supportive. And here we are creating this collaboration. I want to really thank Teresa for being so mindful about inviting different vendors or presenters and really share about things that can support parents, because indeed it's a matter of creating collaboration and being supporting to different processes. So it is up to you, but guess what? We have
You're officially potty trained.
Yeah, you can give it to your child, right? You can, yes, we can say, and you know what? Make it fun. Make it like it really says, woo, we have a graduation this month. It's coming up. Aminta is gonna get her certified, her certificate to be certified, officially potty trained, and make it a big thing to put it on a big thing to say she did it. We are so proud of this process, right? So make it happen. And again, we really want to thank you. We want to open the opportunity for the questions, because I think it's more about not only talking here, but having a conversation with all of you. So again, feel free to visit our website at the.parent. And just again, for those of you that don't know enough about DML, Developing Mindful Life, we are an early intervention program serving children 0 to 3 years old. And we have a center base in Granada Hills. We also have parent education classes, and we also have parenting support for families and children. So again, feel free to visit at any time. So we want to open now. We want to hear from you. I can see some names here. I cannot see you, but we can see some of the names. Ooh,
I
Leilani
have a
is
couple
Hi,
of
Leilani.
questions here.
Yes.
Here. Well, thank you so much. First of all, let me say thank you so much to Aminta and Celina. This is definitely a topic that I have been really wanting to have for the families, because I know especially, you know, when we talk to families, it's always something, potty training, potty training. How can I help my kids with potty training? And I wish I had someone like this or something virtual. Like 20 years ago, this would have been very helpful. But thank you
I'm
so
telling
much.
you.
So let me get right to the questions here. Oh, well. I just don't know what happened there. Let me get back.
I see some
Maybe I
names.
should put on my glasses. I think that will help. Yeah, thank you for developing mindful lives. The phone number's there in the chat box, and I'm going to scroll up because I did see something here. No, just kind of.
And I see some familiar names. I want to thank Leilani that is here commenting about remembering some of the techniques that we have reviewed. Kudos for
Right.
you, Leilani.
Here we go. Okay, so here's a question. Someone's actually said, I feel the same way about stickers and rewards, yet the therapists and workers suggest it.
You want me to add into that?
Yes.
Yes, that's what Aminta and I we want to make sure that we are not saying, don't use it, it's wrong. We are just sharing our philosophy and what is it that we stand for. We definitely believe in celebrating children's success from another angle. As Aminta mentioned, we have been in the classrooms as infant and toddler teachers for so many years, being directors, and that's our own philosophy. And I highly respect other professionals, speech pathologists, or any other professional who believe in giving stickers and rewards. I particularly don't. And I mean, I'm sure have their own stories in the classroom. We noticed that children in the end were looking more for the sticker rather than the process, learning the process, so the behavior can come back again. The stickers and all those things in our own experience are very effective. Of course, I love this sticker here on my head, or, you know, but we are only working to make the child feel good about right there in the moment. It has been our experience. Maybe these other professionals have a different experience, but in the years of being in the classroom, we just noted that children were not changing the behavior. They were only performing for that particular moment. So as soon as the process would be done, they will go back to the same issue. Could be behavior, potty training. I mean, I don't know if you want to add into that.
Right, absolutely. So it's more, we want them to value the process. And in order to do that, you know, if we continuously reward them with something, then sometimes that gets overlooked in a sense. And as they get older, you know, as we get older, of course, you know, they go to school and then you get rewarded for this and you get rewarded for that. But if we can create a balance where they can do it and it's an internal accomplishment and then we celebrate it differently, it holds more value. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
And also I want to add that we're talking more about 0 to 5 years old, that we're forming the identity and the self-esteem. So of course, later in life, we can get those things and will not make us codependent because we already have learned about ourselves, that I don't need you to make me happy. I know how to make myself happy. I don't depend on a reward to make things happen. I will make it happen because I have an internal motivation, right? So again, I want to say that we both respect other professionals who might believe differently.
The next quote we have, how can we assist our children with disabilities that are older than typical potty training age to help them start the process to get them used to the toilet. Is there a particular person, OT or PT, that we can ask to help with those strategies?
So let me just understand the question. So you're saying this is a special needs child, Teresa, that they need some strategies?
I think, is there, would be an OT or PT that could help, they can ask to start strategies to begin the process?
This is the child's motor skills are completely compromised. Of course, you want to involve the PT, but I think the OT and also a child development specialist will be very effective incorporating strategies. The OT, I'm sure, will bring a lot of the sensory approach to really desensitize or to increase the sensitivity that the child needs, because you might have two type of children, the ones that seek for the stimulation and the ones that avoid the stimulation. Again, my battery, I don't know what, give me one moment. I don't know why my computer was not plugged. 1 second.
Someone did ask if they could get a copy of the slides.
Yes, I can send it to you. We can send them to you in a form of a handout.
Yeah, we'll upload it to our website because this is being recorded and the recording will be on our website.
Perfect, we can do that. And again, just adding into that, so if you have a child development specialist that go along with the sensory strategies, somebody that knows exactly about what we're mentioning, developmental stages rather than chronological age, temperament, learning styles, you can incorporate specific strategies to really help this child, especially a child with special needs. You may want to incorporate something that is called PECS, the picture exchange communication. Picture exchange communication, right? That can help and support through pictures and the whole thing. Yeah.
I have a child diagnosed with autism and is doing well with PIP, but mom is concerned how to deal with, is it PIP? Because he doesn't advise, he just does it in his pants. So I'm not quite sure. Do you see the question?
Yeah.
No, which one it is?
Yes, doing well with, I'm not sure, it says PIP. But mom is concerned how to deal with, because he doesn't advise, he just does it in his pants.
Well, we need to remember, I don't know if this is the case, but we need to remember that some children with autism.
Oh, she said, okay. Never mind.
Oh, pee and poop.
Okay. Like some children with autism, we need to remember that they don't have the sensation that we have. So when they are touching things, for us will be, and for children with autism, they might not have enough information. So they need to touch the poop. They need to put it in their hand. They might even play with the poop. We have seen children with autism playing with the poop because they don't associate the sensation that they have, the information that they have in their hands with the purpose. So it's not about they want to be, dirty or they want to, is that they don't know. They don't have the thinking skills associated with this process. So again, that's why an OT and occupational therapist will be really helpful. And again, I want to respect even the approach of ABA. I can see that somebody's saying ABA approach and many other ways to approach the situation. This is something that Aminta and I, we have always reflect on it when we have seen other professionals working. Believe it or not, it can be really effective at what they do, but the developmental aspect sometimes is not there. And as simple as it is, but if the child is not being validated, and if they just go directly to the treatment and the strategies, the child might not collaborate at the same level. So it is so important to really be in tune with the child, but learning how to validate children. And I think this is the beauty about interdisciplinary teams in which the speech, the OT, the CDS comes along into working in collaboration. But if you don't have access to all of these and you are a parent, I will suggest, you can call Regional Center, or you can just do your research about saying, what are the steps, that I need to take? And hopefully these steps will be helpful. We're going to send Teresa these for you to remember or to access them, to review what might be present for you or not be present. But I would like to point out about the specific plan of action and strategies that we were mentioning, that if you really implement them, you will make progress. I can tell you that.
And you may implement them into strategies that you already have. You might just add it, the social emotional aspect of it, because many times it's overlooked, honestly, because we're trying to just get them to do things in terms of we want them to accomplish it. So we're rushing it. So we just want it done, but we're missing that part. And that part is so important because it's also a bonding moment, right? And so that's where Celina and I come in, where it's all connected together. Any learning milestone that they reach is all connected to the social emotional development.
Right. I am also reading here, Leanne, that it says that I have a child diagnosed with autism and he's doing well. I think
that's the one, yeah.
Right. And I just want to add into this, Leanne, is that he doesn't advise, he's just doing it in his pants. And I was just also thinking that some of the things that can help is by increasing the awareness of the child to the sensations, right? Some children need to be desensitized. And again, some children need to increase their ability to really know how does it feel. So because he doesn't advise, maybe he doesn't feel it, or it could be an emotion involved. That's why he doesn't advise. So you may want to work along with the sensory aspect of increasing the sensation or decreasing the sensation, depending on the child, as well as making a visual process about what is going to happen, especially if it's a child with autism. You may want to describe like a journey, the whole sensory journey, the smelling part, the auditory aspect, the visual aspect may not make sense to you, but for a child to see it in a way that all the senses are incorporated will help this child to make progress. Hopefully that also helps with this question.
And I raised two girls and they were both on the, they're on the autism spectrum. And songs like the song you were playing and having those visuals really, I think once I found out, really had something that really worked for them, is having the songs and the music, and that now it's like more of a game for them. So, and then it was fun, because I tried it the other way where it would seem like it was just more like boom, 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 boom. And that's why for me, and that an ABA therapist had it that way. It didn't work for us that way. But when we made it really fun and had the music and like the charts and different things, it took on a whole new, I want to say, meaning. Yeah.
Right. And then the bonding, right? It's different. It's just a whole different, and then it's less stressful. It reduces the stress between both of you, because I'm sure it was frustrating as well on both ends. Again,
Well, even laughing about poop. I mean, the whole thing, just laughing about poop, and it just, I said, it was a difference between night and day, because I was so stressed about it. But no one wants to laugh and smell poop and go boo boo boo. But yeah.
Right.
Will something be sent to our email that we attend class due to new regulations? Do we have?
Teresa, if you send us the names, we'll be more than happy to issue a certificate from DML and that parent, and we'll send them to you.
Okay. Just let me make sure.
So maybe those of you who wants to have a certificate, in fact, I don't want to create more work for Teresa. Please email it to aminta@thatparent.com. Aminta, do you?
Yeah, I'll put it right here.
You
and
can
I like
email
the
it.
cert that you had. Maybe that's even cute, that to give to the kids afterwards. That's really
the certificate.
Yes.
The certificate. Yeah.
So you may want to give it to the children as well. But we will be more than happy if you email Aminta or myself, Celina @thatparent. But I will say we'll be more effective. We can email you a certificate with it is 1.5 hour contact training, right? Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, there's a couple of people that would like a copy. And if I see anything else, someone had to go. I think we have your phone number there.
A copy of the PowerPoint, we will send it to you in slides. Probably we'll send them to you, Teresa, because you already have the group of emails.
Exactly.
And then you can send them or upload it in the thing, but we'll make sure that you will get these.
Okay, and I think if anyone has any more questions, we have a few more minutes.
They're on sale, no charge today.
Yeah, this is your time. If you can think of anything, ask any questions. I do have one, I think here. Oh, yes, we have quite a few people that would like the certificate. That's good to know.
So
Maybe.
Missy, I will just say that if you want to just email us so we can have your email and just reply to your email will be much easier, I guess, just to make sure that we can.
Just email
So if you
me.
can please email at aminta@thatparent.com. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Well, the idea is to take action, right? You know, this reminds me, I mean, about the excitement sometimes for learning something, but learning is one step. The second step is to embrace the learning, and the third is to really put into action. And let me tell you, just sharing from a very humble and respectful place, that sometimes we say, oh, that didn't work. That doesn't work. I tried, you know. And when we really look at the evidence is, you know, the trial was not enough. The implementation was not fully implemented in the way that it is. So I will highly recommend for you to be mindful about putting a plan of action into place, get some help. Sometimes it's not about, I need to do it myself, and only get some help. There's many professionals that can be included in this equation. So again, just don't forget, this is not a lonely process, a lonely journey.
And also from our experiences of being toddler teachers, for the typically functioning child, right? You're talking maybe 3 weeks to 5 weeks to potty train sometimes, depending on if you're on the same page with the family, if the family's on the same page with you, and then the process works on both ends. So it could take 3 weeks to 5 weeks sometimes. Sometimes kids pick it up faster if you're effective, exactly. But then
Even I can take longer.
Right. And if you have children with developmental delays, it can take longer. So the key is also to be patient, because the results are not going to happen instantaneously, right? You have to wait. And then the more the consistency, the frequency that you're doing it, it's going to come. It's just a matter of how long. Sometimes it just takes longer. Yep. So everyone is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It was nice seeing you, Celina, from Yesenia. This just brings back when you were the girls' child development teaching.
Hey, Yesenia! Oh my goodness! Of course, I remember that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Big heart.
Well, thank you so much to our presenters. Thank you so much.
Ramona, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
All of you for attending. Please make sure to continue to visit our website. We will have more presentations like this during the year for the fall and spring. If you have any type of different workshops you're interested in, please, shoot us an email, and we're always looking for new presentations. And I like to work with the vendors with Regional Center to, make sure that we can help our families. And also, I think we have maybe even a lot of teachers or future teachers, or even just our families. So wanting to make sure that we're serving you well. Again, I'm going to quickly put in our Family Focused Resource Center website. And please don't forget, next month, October 23rd, from 10 to 3 will be our virtual resource fair. So we will have at least 60 vendors. They'll all be online. You just pop in at different booths and to get more information. Okay, so if you think you still have 5 more minutes, if you have any questions.
In case of we skip any names, because we have a limited view here, thank you so much for all of you who are here with us today. I don't want to skip any names, but I'm so happy to see some of the names and people that we know. It's nice to see you here, and I don't want to skip any names that I didn't see before. But again, I'm seeing that some of you are putting your email. I will recommend just to email Aminta so we don't skip anybody, because this screen might just go away in a few. And again, so make sure that you are emailing us your email at aminta@thatparent.com. and we will be more than happy to issue that certificate for you. So
Yes.
thank you again to all of
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you,
Thank you.
Teresa.
Thank you. See you
Teresa.
soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Stay
Okay,
safe.
Teresa, she says, can you put it in the chat again? Oh,
What's
Aminta,
that?
right? Or somebody was
uh,
asking to put Aminta at the that parent
Oh,
again.
somebody put it already. Or
Okay.
somebody from.
Yeah, I'm pressing enter.
You are so
and,
effective. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's Vicky and the helping out, but I'm putting in our website. I don't know why it's not, oh, maybe it went through. Do you see our website?
I
No.
don't.
I put it in there, I'm pressing enter and it just doesn't seem.
No,
to-
it's not showing. Well, it shows the circle with the Family Focus
Yeah,
Research
that's
Center, but-
Vicky that's
Yeah,
on,
that's
but I
somebody
just
else,
put
yeah.
it in our, oh, maybe that's.
Yeah,
it.
Brenda is saying that they don't see it. I don't see it neither in my end.
Yeah, I have it right here. I can see it. Huh,
Oh, maybe because
let's
we
do
were
it
sharing the
this way.
screen.
there we go.
Oh, no, but I already say stop sharing screen, so maybe
Yeah.
you
Okay,
need to.
I'm gonna-
I don't
There,
know.
I'm
it's
gonna
right
stop
there.
the
We see it
recording.
now.
Thank you, everyone.